So we're here at BCE in Austin, Texas. I'm here with Dror from RAD. Dror, good to see you.
Good to see you, Ray.
So from RAD's perspective, where do you see the edge of the network sort of evolving? Where's it going? What are the trends?
Well, it's really interesting times. A lot of things are happening in the edge. We've been talking for a very long while about virtualization at the edge and talking about centralized VCP compared to decentralized VCP. So the good news that everything is happening, and decentralization, decentralization. But I think that something that became vivid in the last, maybe 6 or 12 months is that we see two completely different paths for virtualization in layer 2 VPNs compared to virtualization in layer 3 VPNs.
Oh, okay.
And I would like to really distinguish between the two. In the layer 2 VPNs, we see quite a trend of operators which are offering layer 2 VPNs and would like to add to this value-added services.
Okay.
So they are not talking about the virtualization of the layer 2 need itself. This is premature, to get to 1 gig or 10 gig of Carrier Ethernet, this is not something that can be virtualized soon.
Yep.
But those operators realize that when they sell those layer 2 VPN connections, eventually the customer, which is typically a large business customer, is buying a router, buying a firewall appliance, buying a WAN optimization appliance, and they see a real opportunity for them to host these virtual appliances for the business customer and have him continue to manage his own appliance, but in a virtual way and not a physical way.
Okay.
For this, so these operators see this as a big opportunity for them to expand and to increase their revenues from layer 2 VPNs. And for that, an optimal solution would be a kind of a gray box that is doing both the layer 2 need together with the hosting of the virtual VNFs. On the other side, in the layer 3 VPNs, it's a completely different happening or a trend. There we see, first of all, a phenomena of wanting to virtualize everything. So the router, the infrastructure itself of the IP VPN.
Right.
But we see also the rise of SD-WAN.
Yes.
Many people talked about it during the event, and SD-WAN has two drivers. One is a cheaper substitute for MPLS VPNs, right? Mm-hmm. And the second is operators see the opportunity to get out of franchise. So in places where the fiber is not there, they can just connect the business customer via the internet in an overlay manner using the SD-WAN technology. But also there is a kind of, I don't know if to call it a fight between an approach which is SD-WAN centric, okay, that they just want to deploy it. They go for a solution which is end-to-end, no virtualization, no openness to any other VNF. And the other approach is UCPE-centric or vCPE-centric, which means they want to have a generic infrastructure which is not a closed garden that can host various types of VNFs. One of them would be SD-WAN, but also others. So it's, it's very interesting to watch how things play out in this domain as we speak.
Okay. So, obviously the network edge, this is an area where RAD has been one of the key players for many years. So, where is RAD in terms of the development of products for virtual CPE developments?
Okay. So RAD, as you know, was the pioneer to introduce the vCPE concept already 4 years ago, and we are already at our 3rd generation of products for this domain. The most surprising thing for me as the CEO of RAD is that we are now offering a software product.
Right.
RAD has been successful in this industry for 35 years as mainly excelling in hardware. But the paradigm has shifted, and we also shifted our paradigm to meet the real and genuine desire of operators to separate hardware and software. And we just recently announced a new product which we call vCPE operating system, vCPE-OS, which is a carrier-grade operating system for network edge virtualization. It combines and embeds our expertise in networking for the last few decades and virtualization. So it's a software product that contains networking and virtualization capabilities, can run on top of any hardware, any server. It's not only ours. It can work with any orchestrator, any SDN controller, can host VNFs in a manner of virtual machines or containers.
Okay.
So it's really, what this is the industry has been talking about for many years.
Yes.
To have really an open carrier class operating system for vCPE. Actually, in this event, we are demonstrating the capability to do virtual functions in containers in the vCPE-OS, which provides you much better performance, better integration with the device itself, etc. So we are really excited to launch a software product.
Well, it sounds like you're hitting a lot of the demand and a lot of the trends in the industry right now. Now, another one of the trends is something else that's been talked about for years: the integration of white box technology into carrier networks. How do you see that trend developing, and what's RAD's view on that?
So it's going to happen, especially in the layer 3 VPNs that I mentioned before. So this trend is strong and it's going to happen. Having said that, white box were not designed for carrier networks.
Right, yes.
And the question is how you adopt them to work well in a carrier class network. And basically our approach, by the way, we also have a white box. We now sell together with the vCPE-OS. Our customer can elect to work with our white box or to go to buy a white box from someone else. But we also have something that we call pluggable PNFs.
Okay.
Which means that some capabilities...
That's always a great strength of RAD, the pluggable option,
exactly.
isn't it? Yeah.
So we're trying to leverage that and position it into the new paradigm.
Okay.
So pluggable PNFs basically cover two needs which white boxes today don't cover. The first one is how do you maintain your operational procedures? For instance, today when an operator installs a CPE, it has procedures like service activation test, like ongoing performance monitoring, like indications when something is not working in the hardware level. White box don't have all of that.
Right.
So we have a pluggable PNF that goes into the white box and gives all these capabilities. This is one angle. The second angle is covering different access medias. So, white box typically come with a connection to a fiber. But what happens if you want to connect it to a GPON network, to a VDSL network, GFAS network? Okay. Maybe you just have a TDM connection in this site. So we have pluggables that cover also this, covering ability to connect the white box to any media bearer. So basically, those pluggables can go into any white box. If it runs our vCPE-OS, the vCPE-OS will seamlessly also manage these pluggables. Okay. So it's, if you will, it's like a sandwich. There is the white box in the middle, but there is the software on top of it and the pluggables. And all of this combined turns the white box into a carrier class white box.
That makes a lot of sense.
And since, since we have started describing our portfolio in this manner, I can tell you it's really getting great traction.
Yeah, I can see that. That would really resonate. So, are we really talking about 2017 then as the year when virtualization is really coming and becoming reality rather than, it's taken a while, but
yes.
Is this the year for NFV?
I'll take a risk and say yes.
Okay.
I think so. I see the progress in the market. I know where we stand with some of our customers in launching this type of services, and I'll take a risk and say yes, that we are going to see real deployments this year of vCPE. And again, vCPE for layer 3, for layer 2, centralized, decentralized, all this variety exists. And by the way, I think this variety will continue to exist because it covers different use cases and different deployment scenarios and different segments of the market. But definitely we see it finally moving from the stage of talking about it, elaborating the concept, showing demos, into real phase of deployment.
The merging of the promise with the carrier grade elements that you need. Excellent. Dror, great. Been great talking to you. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you.